Silence is the best, right? The Wire, episode 1, titled season 1, episode 1, and it's titled The Target. So, where do I start with this one? I guess at the beginning would be the best place to start, right? No, I mean, if I'm being 100% honest about this, I grew up hearing about this series. I think I've said this before. Didn't have cable, so I never had access to it. Never watched it, And so many times when the conversation of trailblazing type of shows and the ones who did it first and just quality television in general, this show comes up. Best show ever. I heard that plenty of times. After watching the first episode, yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm completely won over by one episode, but it's dated. It's dated. You can't escape that. It's very dated. There's flip phones, and for God's sakes, they're still using typewriters. But the structure of this show so far is excellent. They do a fantastic job of explaining these characters and giving enough background, not necessarily so you know the character, but giving enough background in order to make their future decisions make sense. Kind of bad with wording there, but I feel like they're setting each character up to do certain things later on down the line, which I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I gotta clean this lens off a little bit. I should have did it before I started, but that's a tad bit better. Yeah. So, of course, it's going to take me a little bit to remember all the different names of the characters and stuff. So we're introduced to I don't know why I automatically jump to the bad characters. What the considered bad characters? It takes place in Baltimore. You have the police side, and you have the criminal side, and then I think you have like civilians mixed in there as well. There's a lot of. It's just how do I explain it? It's a great look into these worlds full of these rules that they play by. So on the cop side, you have, I think the main guy that we're going to be going to on the cop side is a detective. Then there's like another detective that's, I guess, they work in the same little area. And then you have like his sergeant, and then you have some other people. Then you have some people that work like the street level stuff. You got 3 of those, and then you got their boss, and then you got like a lawyer, and then you got a judge, and then you got like a guy who's in charge of that. I guess that area. I don't know what it's called yet. I'm still learning all the terms. So you got, and they take enough time to dissect each of these characters. So it's very layered and complicated, which I love. So you're trying right now. I'm still in the gray. I don't have a favorite or at least favorite character at all. I'm just going with the flow, right? And on the other side, you have the criminal element. Now you're introduced to the big boss, who was the guy who played in Fool. Then you have I guess like a guy will be right up underneath him. And then you have like several more characters. They don't really talk too much about them, so I guess I feel a little bit about dissecting each character. But the ones that are important, I guess that makes sense. Important for the storyline as what's considered now. So you have that, and you also you also have another player, which I feel like he may turn because he's not necessary. He's getting a new look at how this business is run. May not exactly be for him, but he just got off on a murder charge, so you have that. So now I've kind of introduced all the characters that I've seen so far. Basically what takes place in this episode is they're introducing characters, but the story so far is there's this criminal organization who's got control of a lot of territory and is pretty much getting away with murder by the detective. If you hear from the detective, it's about 10 murders that they've gotten away with, or there's some type of association with them towards those murders. Now it's probably 11 because one of the guys who was actually testifying at one of the characters' trial winds up getting hit, and of course they're creating a pattern for these murders as well, execution style, 2 shots to the back of the head. Oh, and another thing I have to talk about is how graphic they are with this. Like, I feel like this had to have been groundbreaking when it came out, because I mean, they're showing the bodies and they're giving you, oh man, how could I? So they're showing the bodies and they're giving you a look at how these officers or just dealing with seeing all this violence and death, which is really fantastic if you ask me. But that takes a page from a Spike Lee movie, Clockers, which I should have done a review on, or a reaction video to, but just haven't got around to it. But anyway, I feel like Clockers predates this. I have to double check that. I'm talking about some others. But anyway, so the story goes on. The guy's getting off for murder. Well, he's on trial. Introduced to the detective, everybody that he works with, and just something that's connected to that as far as the street level is. You're introduced to the 3 cops that work the street level, and you see what they're going through on a day-to-day basis. And then at the end of the episode, you're also introduced to the fact that they get to their personal lives. So they talk about who's married, who's divorced, who has kids, who doesn't have kids. And they also show one of the officers' relationships, which happens to be alternative. And I just feel like it's said this show came out in 2002. So I'm feeling like that was like, whoa, what are they doing? They can't show that. I feel like that may have been a thing when this came out, but it's just 2020. Nobody cares now. I mean, hey, live your life. It's nothing at this point. Nobody cares. I never really did. They show that. They also, what else are they doing in this episode? I'm all over the place. It's not really a great reaction video because it's the first time watching it, so I'm just getting introduced to it. It's structured almost perfectly, I feel like, because they're giving you a look at each side and each individual involved in it, and the structure and the fights that they're going to have to put up, and there's quality actors sprinkled all through this series so far. So I can't wait. I cannot wait to watch the next episode, which I will be shortly. I'm trying to see what else happened in this episode. So, oh yeah, the kid gets out for murder, but the detective doesn't necessarily like that. He has a conversation with the judge. The judge is like, okay, really? And the judge winds up talking to the commander of that station, and then the station commander kind of like pulls everybody in there and is like, hey, what's going on? And he ruffles a lot of feathers, and people start to get activated towards the situation. Now everybody's scrambling, trying to find information on this criminal organization. They're being targeted now. So this is a war. Oh my God, I almost forgot. They also put in this came up about right around 9/11. It's really close to 9/11. So that's even a character or a sub story that's involved in this series as of now, which I'm like, what? So they're already talking about what's happening with the war and security measures. They're talking about problems in inner cities such as drugs, crimes, and violence. They're talking about the structure inside the police department and how individuals have to like call out their own way, and people are stuck in their way, and you have to fight for your beliefs. And they're showing the struggles or some of the struggles of the individual, especially when it comes to matters concerning family. So they're dealing with so many different things so far, and I'm just interested to see how it all comes out, because for how many years I can't count how many years I've heard, oh, it's the best show ever, it's one of the better shows ever created. Now I'm going to see for myself.